Whether you are thinking of buying your very first home, a move-up home, or even a vacation home, we have found that all successful home buyers have these three things in common. Today we are talking about three things that all successful home buyers have in common. So if you've had thoughts of buying a new home or even a vacation home, a move-up home, you need to make sure that if you want to be a successful home buyer, you're doing these three things. So the first thing and the most important thing to do is to know your numbers. All successful home buyers know their numbers. So what I mean by that is know your budget. Know what you are willing to spend per month on your home, whether it be taxes or a mortgage. Make sure you know those numbers in advance. Sit down with a mortgage lender, crunch the numbers, look at all of the payments you're making, and decide on your comfort zone. The really important piece to this is that you do it sooner rather than later. You want to make sure you're making this decision with a clear head. You don't want to have already found a property that you're absolutely in love with and you're willing to do whatever it takes to make it work. That doesn't sound like a very sound financial decision, now does it? You want to make sure you sit down early with a clear mind, without any cloudiness from the emotion or excitement of a new home, and just think to yourself, what am I willing to spend? Sit down with that mortgage lender, figure out your monthly payment, figure out your price range, in terms of your comfort zone there. That way we can have a productive home search once we begin. So success tip number 2 is to know what you want. You want to make sure you sit down early on in the process with whoever is helping you make this decision, whether it is your parents or your significant other, or perhaps you're buying a house with a cosigner. You need to make sure that you sit down with all parties present and talk about what do we want to make sure exists in our new house. What's important? Is it a commute? Is it the location? Is it the number of bedrooms or the number of bathrooms? Or maybe it's a really big backyard for the kids to play in. It's really important for you to sit down sooner rather than later and make sure you're all on the same page. The worst thing that can happen is if you find a house that you love, but your spouse doesn't love it because it doesn't include the one thing that he really wanted, but you've never had the conversation to know that that's what he really wanted in a house. So make sure that you know what you want early. The last success tip is to know the market, and this is a big one. All successful home buyers rely on their trusted real estate agent to tell them what's happening in the local market. It's not good enough just to watch the national news and see what's happening nationally in the real estate market, because quite frankly, and I'm sure you're aware of this, there are pockets of our nation that are experiencing vastly different markets than what you would hear about on the news. The third success tip is to know your market. All successful home buyers rely on their trusted real estate agent to tell them what is happening in the market. You can't just watch the national news and go by what they're saying is happening in the greater real estate market. You need to know very niche what is happening in, for example, the Pittsburgh market, what is happening in certain neighborhoods of the Pittsburgh market, because I guarantee there are probably pockets that are moving faster than others. There are probably areas that are moving slower than others. So you need to talk to your agent and figure out, okay, what is the best way to strategize? Should I put together an offer that's more aggressive because I know that there's lots of competition, or do I have a little bit of wiggle room and can I try to get my deal house? Is the seller going to be willing to budge a little bit because we're in that type of market? You need to talk to your agent about that in advance so that you know your strategy going in, because I will say, right now in 2018, there are pockets of the Pittsburgh market that are moving so quickly that if you are not prepared to write a very aggressive offer with incredibly aggressive terms, you've got no chance. So you need to know that in advance so that you're ready and able to act when it needs to happen. So talk to your agent and know the market. So those are 3 characteristics that we find that all successful home buyers have in common, regardless of whether they're buying a new home, a vacation home, a move-up home. So please feel free to reach out if you have any questions, or post your questions and comments down below and we'll definitely get you answers on those. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, give us some thumbs up, give us some hearts and likes, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our weekly videos. Thanks again, guys. See you soon.